live chat. I'm just wolfing down a hamburger. It was almost showtime. I was getting hungry, so I thought I would eat. Live chat. Oh, let me turn this down. And then I forgot I needed to go shopping. This is like really like no food in the house here, other than like, you know, ramen or not like that. I don't feel like that. So I just ran down to, there's a Jack in the Box right on the corner here. I just ran out because I figured I better get something to eat or I'll get shaky. So sorry about eating in camera. I don't really like to do that. But here we are. It's 3:05 Pacific time here in Las Vegas. And it's a nice day out. It's 61 degrees. I went outside. I didn't put a sweatshirt on. I just wore a t-shirt. And I felt fine. It feels warmer than 60. 61. It actually does feel warmer. So whether or not it is, I don't know. But it was nice out. I'm just taking a sip of my tasty beverage. All right, so we got Jolie. Thanks for being here. And we got Shovel. Howdy, Shovel. It takes a few minutes for people to stumble in here to the show. So maybe I'll be done eating by the time that happens. Hopefully, I will be done in just uno momento. I just have a couple more bites and I'll be done with it. But so here we are, as the title suggests. This is a time for us to, you know, just sort of stretch out, get warmed up. But sometimes you need to do that when you go into the Hal Sparks show. You know, you need to be loose. You got to get loose. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to get loosened up. Someone suggested last time jumping jacks. Jumping jacks is a great way to warm up, I think. So, but here we go. Let's see. I just thought I had a some sort of thing here, but I don't have it. All right. So yeah, let's get ready. Let's get ready to rumble. Some of the things that's been going on since we last spoke. Let's see. Yeah, we got Peter Navarro sentenced to 4 whole months for whatever the hell he did. This 56 Nick Rich. Like number 7. Thank you so much. Shovel says, good, thank you. Was just jamming with Johnny Million. Show ended. Yeah, I had Johnny Million playing. And I thought he was going to end at 3. So here's the thing. I was just thinking earlier, you know, I hate to go on, like when other people are on, you know, that we know. They're having shows and stuff. Live streams, but there's so many people doing live streams that if I didn't go on because someone else is doing a live stream, then I would never be able to go on, you know, basically. So when I finally decided to do this, the live stream show, I've been doing it for, I think, over 2 years now. That's one of the things I kind of agonized over. It's like, okay, when should I go on? Blah, blah, blah. Because I know this person does a live stream and that person does a live stream and this one. And I don't want to, you know, go at the same time as they do. But then I just decided, you know what, John, just do it. You can't worry about everybody. I can't put, you know, I can't worry about everybody else's shows. I'm not going to worry about myself in this regard, you know. Like I said, if I worried about every time I want to go on that somebody else is on at the same time, then I would never be able to go on. So you just can't do that. You got to just go on, and whoever watches watches, and whoever doesn't watch doesn't watch. You know, that's just the way it is. So here we are, and like Johnny Million was on, and I was hoping that he was going to stop at 3 because I wasn't sure. I guess that's what he does. He just stops at 3, even on Fridays or whatever, or on Thursdays. And I'm glad he did. But there's so many shows on. We can't really worry about if we're gonna preempt out somebody else, you know, or else we'll never be able to go on. Okay, so enough of that subject. We got 56 says Wes. We were talking about Wes earlier. I think he had mentioned that he was going to go on a trip. Maybe, you know, so he's not really paying attention to the internet or whatever. Hopefully he's okay. I think he went down to visit his sister or something. Shovel says John doesn't allow political conversations. It's a pleasant reprieve. Well, I do. Were you not listening this morning? I think our whole show was pretty political. We were talking about, you know, voting blue and all that kind of stuff. And I think I may have said something to the effect of stop voting for Republicans. You know, and yeah, we get political. Oh, Johnny Million you're talking about. See, if you had said Johnny Million, you said John, and I thought you were talking about me. Oh, yeah. Okay, just, you know what? We're going to fix that in post. And I feel so embarrassed. Yeah, you were talking about Johnny Million. I'm sorry, Shovel. Yeah, he just plays music, and he's really cool. He's a chill dude. And it is a great reprieve. You were right. And I am such a dick. I'm such a dick. I apologize. I do that all the time though. I put my foot in my mouth all the time. So that was stupid. Anyhow, Fick Nixter says you're worth $1 million, John. Oh, thank you. But anyhow, okay, yeah, you were talking about Johnny Million, and yeah. So anyhow, wow. No apologies for. But you're right. Yeah, Johnny Million's cool, man. He's just shredding, and it's a great show. And you can't help but not just, you know, love the guy, right? I've never met him in real life. I don't know him from Adam. No, I don't know him from whatever. Other than that, you know, I see him on Hal Sparks' show on Saturday, and I see him. You know, now he has his own live stream. He just seems like a great guy, right? So, yeah, you get a little break from all the political talk. Sometimes we need a break. Sometimes we need to just, yeah, like I say, just turn on some music and chill out, or just watch a funny movie, you know. That's the thing about people. You know, you hear all the time, I'm burned out on the politics. I'm burned out, you know, on the political ads. I'm burned out on the campaign season. You know, and it can become a real drudgery, I guess. Drudgery? Is that the right word? So you just got to give yourself breaks. It's okay to take a break, even if it's just a daily break. Like you say, listening to Johnny Million. Or it's, you know, go watch a movie that's hopefully not political, just some sort of popcorn movie, sort of some escapism type of thing. Or even if you just take a break from it for like a week or a month, whatever time you need, a day, whatever you need. It's okay to take little breaks. What's, I guess, not okay is just a totally, you know, like, totally not care or get involved at all, you know? I mean, so you don't want to do that either. I'm not saying that you do, but I'm just saying that some people do that. I guess they get so burned out, so tired of it, because I guess they're just in it so much, 24/7. Then they just completely burn out. So to prevent yourself from doing that, it's good to have a little just quiet time, or you know, just something that gives you a break, even if it's a daily break. Of listening to some music or whatever. So that's a good thing. So Johnny Milling, that he serves a really great purpose, I guess. You know what I mean? To allow us to have some place to go that isn't just pounding, the Democratic platform and the Republican. Well, if they had a platform, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm just cleaning out my glasses. What's up? What else is going on with you guys? We got 56 Nitrous says we don't know each other online either. Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. Don't you? Do you know what I mean? Joel says D18 Serenity for me. I don't know what that means. Is that a chord? Maybe? I don't know. I did notice Johnny has a lot of guitars, doesn't he? I saw him playing the yellow one today. He probably played more than one today. I was just looking off and on. I remember the yellow one. The other day I saw a really pretty red one that he had. He's got some beautiful guitars. Jolie says, I've been listening to some Janice today while I catch up on 2 weeks of housework. I didn't do anything while I was sick. Neither did anyone else over here. Bunch of bums. Yeah, bunch of bums, aren't they? And Kimchi. Hey, there's Kimchi. She says, hi, dear friends. Druggy John, Gorgeous Jolie. I know exactly what you mean. Hugs. So there's the high. I'm going to skip over the highs, guys. Just so I don't get too far behind in the chat. Kimchi, I will read this one. Kimchi says, you want to hit the like. So as I stated earlier, my goal is to get up to 1,300 subscribers by end of day. At the end of last show, at noon my time, I think I got 6 new subscribers. So we were up to, I think, according to, like here it says, it might say 1290, but when I go into YouTube Studio, it says I have 1292. So I don't know why there's a discrepancy. But the YouTube Studio says I have 1292. Maybe there's 2 people that, can you somehow hide your I don't know. But we're up to, I think we're up to 1292. So if that's true, I guess I'm going to go by that one, whatever. We need 8 more. So hopefully we can get 8 more by the end of, by 11:59 p.m. tonight. I hope I get can get at least 6 more, or maybe 8 more, or I could say 10 just to play it safe, right? Because it seems like there is always where you get subs and then for some reason they fall off. I don't know. People decide, wait a minute, this guy is horrible. What was I thinking? What the hell was I thinking? And then they go back and they unsub, I guess. I don't know. I think I've only unsubbed someone if they really were like horrible. I don't think I'm really horrible. I mean, horrible. I might be horrible in the sense that I'm not entertaining or funny or anything like that, but I'm not horrible like evil horrible. You know what I mean? And so anyhow, so I guess we're at either 1290 or 1292. So help us get to 1,300 by the end of day, and that would be great. So you can hit the like, subscribe, share, get us in the algorithm. If you're already subbing, you can share, and maybe the person or the place that you share it to, maybe someone from there will sub. Let's see here. We got Sean 12 says hi from Lurker's Lounge. There you go. The Lurker's Lounge, yeah, I'm sure it's full. 56 Nick Rich says, I listened to a Melanie playlist today. I don't know who Melanie is. I hope it was good. Yeah, thumbs ups, everybody. Shovel is hoping that Jolie is all better now. I think Jolie's on the mend, feeling better. Might still have a little. Yeah, Jolie says so much better today. Thanks. Um, Seha's here. Holy crap, it's Trucker John. Holy crap, it's Seha. Thank you for being here, Seha. Everyone's saying hi over there to Seha. Oh, is Melanie the old one from the 60s about the roller skates? Brand new key Melanie? Picture, you don't know Melanie? Okay, well, I know that one song. I just bought a brand new pair of roller skates, but I need the key or whatever, right? Is that how it goes? Okay, so that's one song. What else is on this playlist? I don't think she had any other hits, did she? But I guess, you know, you can have a playlist. It doesn't have to have hits. I mean, it could just be whatever you like. 56. Rich says, lay down. Was that the name of the song? Are you telling me to go lay down? I don't know. Seha says, you can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. Probably, especially, you know, because the ground is, if they're out on a field, it's pretty hard. That'd be pretty difficult. Pretty difficult to do such a thing, because you generally, I would say, you need like a hard surface to roller skate. Jolie says, like, subscribe, and share. Alrighty. If we can get to 1,300, that'd be awesome. 56 cent treasures. What music did you like, I think, stream to in high school? Well, let's see. In high school, we had no streaming. But if we did, I used to make, you know how people make mixtapes? This is how my mind thinks. I would make mixtapes, and I would write on the cassette. It was a cassette. I guess I hadn't heard the term mixtape, but I was making mixtapes. But I guess I had never heard that term. And on the little sticker, you know, I would write out, compilation tape. If I had only known the word or the term mixtape, just think of how much room I could have saved. But I would write out compilation tape. I would actually write that out on the little sticker, and in a little tiny writing, I could write really tiny. I would write all the songs and the artists that were on that side of the tape, and then the other side, do the same thing. Pretty much, I could almost get almost all of them on there. But man, if I had been aware of the term mixtape back in the 70s when I was making these mixtapes, I could have had no problem getting all the names on that little sticker. But okay, so in high school, okay, here's how it goes. I would say, here's how I went from my favorite bands. Let's see if I get the order right, because I would change bands. And I think my first favorite band was probably the Beatles, but that was before high school and stuff. But in high school, my favorite band probably was Thin Lizzy. Love Thin Lizzy, right? And then after Thin Lizzy was Foghat. When Foghat Live came out, especially. I loved Foghat. But then, when Van Halen came out, that was it. There was no more of this, like, because I went from like, okay, maybe the Beatles, CCR. This is like pre-high school. CCR, one of my favorite bands. You know, who else? probably Queen. Queen was like before high school. They've been around so long, right? I love Queen and all that stuff, but then it was really like Thin Lizzy and then Foghat. I had all these bands. I liked Aerosmith a lot, but when Van Halen came out, that was it for like the next probably at least 10 years. I mean, they're still my favorite band, but they kind of died off. Well, no, probably maybe the next 20 years. I mean, they were pretty good, even with Hagar. I know a lot of people hate Van Hagar. I still love them. I think they're great. But my favorite is those first like 5 or 6 albums with David Lee Roth. That era is just, mwah, to me. So I love Van Halen. They're still my favorite band, I think, of all time. But then in the '90s, I really like grunge. I really like Nirvana. I really like Pearl Jam, Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, all that shit in the '90s. I love all that shit. And then the 2000s, it's kind of like Black Keys. I even like 21 Pilots. I think they're pretty good. I like Cage the Elephant for the like newer stuff. But yeah, going back to high school, yeah, it was like, okay, well, Boston, Foreigner, Foghat, Thin Lizzy, of course, Van Halen. Did I say Aerosmith already? All those were like my fucking core bands that I just loved. And then the Cars came along, and they were really. I don't know if you call them alternative or what, but they were not Van Halen, and they were not any of those kind of hard rock bands. They were a whole new sound, and I love the Cars. I still, to this day, they're one of my favorite bands. So that would be the stuff on my playlist, on my compilation tape. Let's see, where are we at now? We got Nick Rich says, listen to damn autocorrect. I know. Shovel says, laughing at that, we had a canal when I was in high school. Was it right? It just went right by the school, I guess. Jolie's laughing at my compilation tape. I know. Me and the big fancy words. Sayha says, laughing out loud, I had a reel-to-reel. Wow, weren't you fancy? Shovel says, we used to record ourselves and did drop in our songs on compilation tapes. Oh. 56 Nick Rich says, boys are back in town. Yeah, all that. Yeah, I love that. Boys are back in town. And I went and bought all their albums and everything when they came out. Rose Blake says, the boys are back in town. Slow Ride. Yep, that's Foghat there and Thin Lizzy. Thanks, Rose Blake, by the way, for being here. Rose Blake dropping in. Good to see you. Rosebeck says, hello, everybody. Shovel says, Van Halen first album stuck a dagger into disco. Yeah, disco was going strong. I did, with full disclosure, I wasn't really into disco all that much, but Saturday Night Fever was really, really huge. I bought the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, and it had all those Bee Gees songs and all those songs from the movie, and I liked it. But it's one thing you can like something else, but still, the stuff that I really loved, of course, was all those rock bands that I mentioned. But I still listen to some Bee Gees over there. But 56 Nick Rich says, hey, I've still got a reel-to-reel. Works kinda. That's funny. Well, yeah, I didn't mention Zeppelin, and I love Zeppelin. Yes, of course, I had Zeppelin. I had a lot of I had Zeppelin albums, and I like to buy albums if I could, and then that's how I make my mixtapes, my compilation tapes. Although I did have some cassette collection, so I would kind of like, I had vinyl, I had cassettes. I even had, before that, we had 8-tracks. I remember we had. My dad is funny, he would join like those Columbia record things, and he would get the album of the month, and sometimes they would just send it to him, and he would forget to like say, don't send it this week or whatever. And I remember one time we got like Led Zeppelin, I think it was Led Zeppelin 3, right? It's one with like the Immigrant Song and all that stuff, and And he goes, and he looked at it, and he's like, Led Zeppelin. And I go, give me that, because I knew he didn't like it or didn't care about it. And he would listen to it with me. He went in the car because I think our only 8-track players were in the car. Well, no, you know what? We probably had an 8-track in the stereo in the living room, I guess. But I just remember mainly listening to it either in the car or in my bedroom. I did have a little portable 8-track player, and it had like one speaker. It was crappy. It had like one speaker, I think, and you just sort of put the 8-track, I think, on the top, and then you hate the thing. It had like those 4 channels, and then it'd be in a song, and it's going to change over to the next channel, and it would interrupt the song. The 8-tracks were just sucked. But anyhow, so we had that, and yeah, I love Zeppelin. Zeppelin definitely would be in my compilation tapes. Kim Chi says you got to get more creative, like Timmy's Love and Crying Time and Move Your Ass, Bitch. I don't know. Were those songs? Rosebeck says, I love disco. Donna Summer. I had the Love, was it called Love You Baby album? Whatever that album was, I had that album. Donna Summer was looking very, very hot on that album cover, as I recall. Kim Chi says, smoochies at Say How. Oh, I said I was not going to read the highs. Say How says, 80s were great for music. Now we've got a bunch of auto-tuners, and Gundam Style was a big hit. It's funny because I can remember when people were saying that the 80s sucked. That it was kind of like a dead decade. My God, I can't talk. But that is the decade that I got into Bruce Springsteen. That's another one. I didn't mention Springsteen, and I love Springsteen. I went and bought all his albums. I've seen him in concert, and I love Springsteen. But it wasn't until the Born in the USA album that I started getting into him. And of course, all the diehard Springsteen fans, they hate that album, or at least they did at the time. Maybe they're trying to revise history now, but at the time, they all said that that's just too commercial, and he's sold out, and blah-de-la-de-la. The whole album has got great songs on it. It's a great album. And I really didn't know much about Springsteen. It seems like, of course they played out, because he's an East Coast guy, especially back in the 70s, going in the late 70s and the early 80s and stuff. Of course, out here, our stations in LA were KLOS and KMET were the main big rock FM stations. And of course, I'm sure they played Born to Run and, 10th Avenue Freeze Out. But it just didn't seem like it was really as big out here as he is on the East Coast at that time. Not until Born in the USA. At least this is my experience. And then when Born in the USA came out, that was just a fucking phenomenal as far as in terms of sales and concert dates and selling out, selling out tickets and everything. So I just got into Springsteen, and that was about what, 1985 or so, 84, 85. And then I went back and starting from like what, Greetings from Asbury Park or whatever. I went back and got all those albums, Born to Run, everything, Nebraska. And I think Springsteen is awesome, and I love the guy. I think he's a great guy, great performer, great songwriter. And he's coming here in March, and damn it, I need to get a ticket. I need to see if I can get a ticket. But I love Springsteen, and but for the so to me, the 80s, I'm kind of thinking, okay, so you had Van Halen still kind of going into Van Hagar. You had Motley Crue. They were pretty big in the 80s, and you had some of the hair bands, even like Poison and Cinderella and all that shit. And then you had Springsteen in the mid 80s on was like kind of like Springsteen. And then the 90s, early 90s was, for me, that was the grunge stuff, But yeah, it's funny how I didn't mention Zeppelin or Springsteen, and those are two of my all-time favorites. Funny how it kind of, you don't mention it. So we got, I'm just going to catch up here. Nick Rich said, I saw Alice Cooper building on my babies live. It was pretty awesome, I bet. Sayhouse says, 80s were great for music. Oh yeah, that's what led me on the whole Springsteen thing, right? Shovel says, auto tune grr, beatbox grr. Rose Blake says, I just seen Alice Cooper at Virginia Beach. He did his snake act. He still sounded the same. That's cool. He's still performing. Jolie says, I started high school loving bands like Culture Club and Wham. Middle of high school, I liked Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, and Def Leppard. Oh yeah, Def Leppard. I could add that to the '80s bands, right? Ended high school loving Zeppelin and Pink Floyd. There you go, a good progression. Pisces says, "Hey, there's Pisces readers. Thank you for being here. Thanks for jumping in." Sayal says, I've got a pen. I've got an Apple pen. There you go. I've got an Apple. I've got a pen. Kimchi says, I meant creative titles for your mixtapes. Okay. I think I would just put compilation tape. Not very creative, is it? Pisces Greed is a Springsteen fan. Well, all right. Shovel Commercial Boss, I remember. Yeah, that was a complaint when Born USA came out. The diehard fans that had been there from the beginning, they didn't like this new sound. It was too commercial, apparently, and they said he was a sellout. Whatever. Sayhal says 80s Motley Crue, Van Halen, Kiss, Warrant, Rush, Toto. Oh, Toto. They were also 70s because they were a big band. They were big when I was in high school with Hold the Line. That was in 78, I think. Asia, I could go on for hours. Yeah, and Van Halen, they went from the 70s to the 80s. Kiss, they were still pretty big in the 80s, but they started in the 70s. Warrant, yeah, they had a couple hits. Rush, they're sort of perennial, I guess, right? Powerhouse. Toto, I think of them more as a 70s band, although I guess they had come out with Africa or whatever it was. Asia, yeah, they had a couple songs. But yeah, like I said, I think it's the 80s are more defined by probably the hair bands like Motley Crue and stuff, and then Springsteen. It's kind of, and they're kind of almost like an oxymoron right there. Pies Grader says hugs to you all. Thank you for the hugs. Julie says the year after high school, I stumbled on the Grateful Dead. There it is. That's Jolie became a deadhead. Yep, and that was it. Deadhead for life. Yep, you got stung by the Deadhead, by the Grateful Dead, and that's it. Deadhead for life. Yep. Nick Rich is say it's time to light one up, I guess. Rose Blake says he gave great concerts. We're talking about Bruce, I guess. Yeah, the dude could play forever. Him and his band, 4-hour concerts, 4.5-hour concerts. Robert Papone is here. For newer music, I really like future garage, future soul, chill step. Are those types of music? Okay. 56 Nick Rich says hello. Rose Blake said Toto had the best musicians. They're pretty good. You know, one of the guys in Toto, I think, or maybe it's some other band. Maybe I'm confusing it. But one of the guys in one of these bands, his dad is the composer. Who's the guy who does all the music for like Star Wars and shit? I should know the name. I'm having a senior moment. But I think his son is in Toto, I think. If I remember. Pisces Greer says like Queen, Journey, Toto. I love Queen. Queen's one of my favorite all-time bands. Journey, they got obviously great songs, but I could live without Journey, quite frankly. But I like them. I mean, they have great songs. And whenever they come on the radio, of course, I sing to them. I try to do my best Steve Perry, but No, no. That it's whenever I ever have any little thing where I think maybe I could have been a singer, and then you try to keep up with Steve Perry. It's like nope, no, no, no. I'm gonna stick to truck driving or Uber driving. And Toto, yeah, I like Hold the Line. What else do they have? And besides that, and uh, the song about the girl from Pulp Fiction. Rose Blake says boy bands in the '90s. Yeah, and which I didn't listen to. I listened to grunge. Say How says Ozzy. Yeah, oh well, Ozzy's perennial. Yeah, right. From going all the way back to um, the '70s and yeah, White Snake. Yeah, well they were big. Um, they had their moment in the '80s. Def Leppard. I think we've already mentioned Def Leppard, but yeah, yeah. I remember Def Leppard came out. When Def Leppard came out, it was kind of good to have something come out that was kind of hard rock and because there was a dry spell there a little bit. You know, Robert Pipon, Pink Floyd. Yes, there you go. I love Pink Floyd too, and I didn't mention them, but I am a big Pink Floyd fan. I had a bunch of their albums too. And I say, and I always mention this in like past tense because almost all my albums and CDs got stolen, and it kind of breaks my heart. But then I try to just say, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. There's nothing I can do to get it back, get them back. You know. But yeah, I love Pink Floyd too. They're a great band. And where do you categorize them? Like they're just brilliant rock, I guess. I don't know. Kimchi says in the '80s, I was NSX. Oh, they're good. I like In Excess. Queen, love Queen. Culture Club. Yeah, I guess. But not Duran Duran or Police or U2. Uh-oh, Kimchi. You and me, we got some disagreements going on here. Duran Duran's okay, but I love Police. I had a bunch of their albums. And U2. And it's funny how I've failed to mention them. One of my favorite all-time bands, especially from, those late '70s or early '80s. That run that they had of albums going up to the Joshua Tree, um, and the live album and all that stuff. Um, they've kind of died out since, but um, U2 had a great run through the '80s and '90s. I thought for a while there when they were doing Zooropa tour and all that stuff. Um, they kind of like ruled the world. That's the way I look at it. Like, what artist rules the world right now? And like it used to be the Beatles, let's say in the '60s or whatever, and then you could probably say in the '70s it might have been the Eagles that ruled the world, and in the '80s I think it might have been Springsteen. In the '90s, um, who ruled the world in the '90s? I'm not sure who ruled the world in the '90s because there was so many bands and so many things going on. Maybe Madonna. I don't know. I don't know. But someone ruled the world. Like now, I kind of think like Taylor Swift rules the world. That's just the way I think about it. And for a while there, I think U2 ruled the world. They were such a hot streak, and they were worldwide known. They were known all over the world, and so that's how I think. That's how I sort of define that. Say Huh says Kick Axe. Was that a band? I don't remember that band. Robert Papone says, hello, Pisces Reader. Oh, I'm not reading the highest. Sorry about that. Saigon Kicks. I don't know if those are songs or bands or what. Rose Blake says, I loved Culture Club and Wham. I used to sing on the radio, like, wake me up before you go. Just because it's goofy, but I never really liked it. But George Michael, for some reason on the playlist that I was playing last night on my Apple Music, I just picked like hits of the '90s, I think it was. Was it 90s? I don't know. All these George Michael songs kept coming up that I don't even really remember, but they would come up and I would go, "This is really a pretty song." He had like a lot of pretty songs besides just the sort of ones that we know, up tempo ones. But he did a lot of like pretty kind of ballad type songs, and had a great voice. So yeah, but I'm not really into the George Michael or Wham or whatever. You know where I'm into. I'm into the rock, man. Sehal says we'd go see Brian Adams to pick up chicks. Oh, so Brian Adams was the one. Yeah, because all the chicks were there. Let's see, did I ever see Brian Adams? I don't think I did, but I remember I had the Brian Adams cassette. Kimchi says AC/DC. Yep, I love AC/DC. Rush. Pink Floyd were background music until my first husband gave me a schooling. Well, I'm not sure if I like your first husband because those are great bands right there. All time, they make my all time favorite list. Kimchi says I was in love with Andrew Ridgely, Teresa. Poor Andrew. No one ever really speaks of him. 56 Nick Rich mentioned the Stones. Nobody mentioned the Stones, and I love the Stones. I'm not one of those people that says you either have to love, it's either the Beatles or the Stones. It's one or the other. Well, okay, yeah, I lean towards the Beatles, and I'm more of a Beatle guy. But then every time I listen to the Stones, I go, God, these guys are fucking awesome. They're great. They have great songs. So I love the Stones too. Great, 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 great band. Great of all time. Great band. Rose Blake says George Michael was beautiful. Yeah, I think so. I think he's a beautiful guy. Shovel says I roadied for Priest and Maiden summer of '81. Wow, that must have been fun. I mean, hard work, but because I think the roadies work their asses off, but also you get time to enjoy the show. Maybe I don't know. I don't even know, but it seems like it would be a really cool experience. Kimchi says hard rock music makes my brain hurt. Well, I guess that happens. Practice Reader says, Kimchi, I had a crush on Barry Gibb from the Bee Gees. Hey, I was talking about the Bee Gees earlier. Kimchi says, laughing out loud, when I was in the normal then, Andy, of course, my fave. Oh, yeah. And that's so sad, huh? He died early. Julie says, that's awesome, Shovel. I bet you have some great stories. Robert Pepone says, you have a bunch of conservatives nowadays hating trans people, but these same conservatives in school days loved big-haired dudes and spandex. Go figure. Yeah, that's kind of funny, huh? There's a lot of kids I went to school with that did a lot of things, and now they act like those days never existed, and they're just goody two-shoes, and their shit don't stink, and fuck them. Nick Rich says Toto ain't in Kansas anymore because there's a band called Kansas, and I had that album too. Carry On Wayward Son, whatever that album was called. I had that. Kimchi says, who knows? My daughter talked about dubstep and electric metal and dance whatever, and I cannot keep track of all the distinctions. Most are noise, and now I know I am old. I like some dubstep, like was it AWOL Nation or not AWOL Nation? Who's it? There's a couple bands. They're I would say they're like more rock oriented, and they have dubstep, and some of the newer 2000s stuff. I think it sounds pretty cool. Seha says Extreme, Night Ranger. He's going on. He's just going to keep. He said he could go on forever with these 80s bands. Yeah, they were there. I never really liked Extreme all that much. Night Ranger's good. I like Sister Christian. Rose Blake says Barry Gibb had the best chest hair on the planet. Oh, you're into that chest hair, are you? I have a little tiny patch. It's the cutest little thing. I'm not very hairy. Let's see. Pisces Greetings is so true, Rose. Kimchi, Africa. That's the Toto song, right? Seha Vixen. Okay, there he goes. Kimchi Motley Crue. Yeah, we spoke of Motley Crue. Night Ranger. Yeah, I just like Sister Christian. They did Sister Christian, right? That's my. I hope I'm right on that. Molly Hatchet. I loved Molly Hatchet, by the way. I did have a couple of Molly Hatchet albums, and they were pretty cool. You know, they were in that kind of. I don't want to put them in Skinnerd, and we didn't mention Skinnerd either. But I didn't want, But I mean, they were kind of that Southern rock. But they didn't they have just like a whole bunch of guitar players. Like, of course, they had a drummer, but it seems like they had like 6 guitar players or something. Really great band. 38 Special from Kimchi and the band. Pisces Reader says, a big Billy Joel and Elton John fan, and I love both those guys too. Don't get me wrong. I had some Elton John albums, and I had Billy Joel's album, the first one there, and I love those guys too. They're great, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Rose Blake said, "Are you talking about Robbie Robertson, Kimchi, of the band fame?" Sehal says, "80s was the year of TV music, videos, night tracks, MTV." Yeah, that's true. That's when MTV and all that stuff came out. Alan Parsons Project, I had that album too, Kimchi. The iRobot or whatever it was called. I had that. Mr. Seha, Mr. Yeah. Was that Carry It or whatever the song was? I had that tape. I had that cassette. Kimchi says, yes, Rose, he revamped Night. They drove Old Dixie down. Oh, and changed the words. Oh, wow, really? Nick Rich says, something me and my buddy's garage band played in the garage. Devo, I like Devo. Whip It Good. You know, who doesn't love Devo? But it's just not my thing, you know what I mean? But I love Devo. Talking Heads, yeah, absolutely. Seha is just gonna, inundate me with 80s bands just because I said the 80s was a dead decade. I didn't say they were right, the people saying that. I just said that there are people that have said that. Thompson Twins, yeah. I think I had that cassette too with that one big song that they had. I know they had maybe a few, but there's one big one. Robert Pepone says Frank Zappa had some far out music. I love listening to a little Frank Zappa. When he way back when, and he has like 100 albums. And I loved Dweezil, man. I loved Dweezil. Remember, he came out and he could play. I think not as good. He wasn't as good as Eddie Van Halen, but I'm saying he was good at imitating Eddie Van Halen. Very, very good. Pisces Reader says, yes, remember MTV. Rose Blake says, love the band, extremely talented group. Yeah, I remember the band. They were good. Kimchi says, Train came up in the 90s and is still rocking. Was that Tears of Jupiter or something like that? Or Jupiter Tears? Stray Cats, says Robert Perez. Hey, Robert Perez, thanks for chiming in. Stray Cats, I remember that rockabilly sound, right? They were big in the 80s. Seha, Prince. Yep. Poor Prince, man. It seems so unavoidable, I mean, no. It seemed avoidable in a way that his passing. Like, God, he was so close to getting the help he needed. I think he died in an elevator on the way to this doctor's office that he finally was going to go to. Because he was so emaciated and he was such a little guy, and when he died, he was like just nothing, so emaciated, and he had been on taking these oxycodone or whatever he was doing, and pain pills, and he was on this and that. Gosh, it's just so sad, man. He was just this close. I think he was this close to getting the help he needed. He just waited a little too long, man. Man, if he had gone in like a week earlier, or even a day earlier, if you think about it, maybe he'd still be alive today, So sad. So sad. Kimchi says, I saw Prince with Apollonia and the other chick, can't remember her name. Apollonia. Was it the drummer chick? Rosebank says, "Oh my God, the Talking Heads rocked." Yeah, they're good. I had some Talking Reds, and there's also Talking Reds. No, Talking Heads. I had a couple of their cassettes. KROQ, yes, of course. I used to listen to KROQ all the time whenever I could. You know, they were an LA station. I lived in the desert, and we could pick them up in some certain places where I lived. You know, but whenever I went down to LA quite a bit in the valley, and whenever I was down there, I would K Rock was my station of choice. But you know, but we KLOS and KMT you could get that in pretty much most places in the desert where I lived, and they're great stations too, great powerful rock stations, you know. But KROQ, yeah. Kimchi says hi to Robert Perez, but thanks for being here. Yeah, thanks for being here. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up for me, like, subscribe, and share. Trying to get the 1,300 subs by end of day, guys. Help me out. Let's get the 1,300. Kimchi says, I'm having an 80s party for my birthday. Well, that sounds fun. Say huh, Faith No More. There he goes. Yeah. Boy, do I stand corrected. A lot of great bands in the 80s. Red Hot Chili Peppers. Well, Chili Peppers. But Red Hot Chili Peppers by Say Ha. Rose Blake, A Love Bizarre. Was that a band? Pisces Cool, Kimchi. Janelle Walker. Hey, Janelle Walker. Thanks for being here. So hi there to you. Kimchi says, yes, Janelle Walker, thanks. We waited in line all night, number 2, and still only got floor seats like row 30. Huh. What was that for? Oh, Sheila E. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, Sheila E. Julie says, hi, Robert Perez, Pisces. Oh, I'm way behind. I thought I was caught up, and I'm way behind. Let's see. And we're almost out of time here. I assume that Hal is coming on in technically 4 minutes, but you know how he's always late. It might be 14 minutes. Say ha, yes. I like Yes. I like John Anderson and Yes. And I had, that album with, In and Around the Lake or whatever. Pisces Greeter says Bryan Adams is good too. Yeah, very good, very good. Rose Blake, I saw Yes. That was probably pretty awesome. Probably, I bet you they had big light shows and stuff, right? Kim Shee says yes, yes. Say Ha says Rolling Stones is a freebie. And they cover just about every decade every decade that I've been on this planet. They've got music coming out. I mean, they had new music, I think, just last year. They're amazing. Keith Richards is amazing. Mick Jagger. Did you guys see the video of him doing like dancing and warming up? I mean, the guy can move better than I could ever move in my best day, probably. Kimchi, Dixie's Midnight Runner. Come on, Eileen. Oh, come on, Eileen. Robert Perez, Spencer Davis Group. Oh, we're getting into maybe a little more kind of jazzy soul music. Let's see here. Say Ha says saw Bridges to Babylon in Norman. I don't know if I know them or not. Rose Blake says without the Beatles there wouldn't have been no Stones. That's probably true. Maybe I mean the Beatles really started the whole British invasion type of thing. Really without the Beatles, who knows? Terry Miners, I absolutely love George Michaels. Yeah, he was really, really talented. Super, super talented guy. Pisces Greaser says, my husband is a big Beatles fan, and he also likes the Rolling Stones. Well, there you go. Say ha. The Crew. Robert Prepon. Roadies partied their asses off. I was a union stagehand and worked with roadies a whole lot. I think that would be pretty cool. Pretty fun job, especially if you're like, young and healthy, and you can withstand the partying and the physical part of it. You got to be kind of young with that or whatever. Hey, there's Bicycle Mike. Everybody, I'm on the road in Joshua Tree National Park. Hey, Bicycle Mike, I saw you went live. I was the one person who I did give you a thumbs up, but Your chat apparently was shut off or something because I was gonna say hey, but the chat apparently was not working. But I saw you for a little bit driving out there, and let's see here. Rose Blake, say how you're naming some great bands. Yep. Nick Rich, Boston, awesome memories. I saw Boston in concert at the Forum in LA. And guess who opened for Boston? Sammy Hagar. It was, and Sammy was really good too. This was before he was, way before he was with Van Halen. Seha says they might be Giants. I remember that band. Seha, yeah, Boston. Boston's great. I love Boston. I just feel so bad about Brad. Was it Brad Delp? Whatever, committed suicide. That sucks. Jolie says I've never really liked the Beatles or the Stones. I get a lot of grief for that. Yeah, Jolie, that's unfortunate. You don't like the Beatles or the Stones. There would be no Grateful Dead if not for the Beatles. I don't know. Sal says Scorpions. Oh yeah, Scorps. Scorps are good. Gorky Park or whatever. Brought to you like a hurricane. I'm not even singing the right tune, so, but you know what I mean. Pisces Greeter says, I think I live in London. Wait, I think I live in London? Why? Because we are getting a lot of fog here. Oh. Yeah, it's been foggy around places. Robert Perez, Billy Squire. Stroke me, stroke me. You know, he never sang any of his songs. It was the guy from Jefferson Airplane that did or Jefferson Starship that did the lead vocals. Karen Bast is here. Good afternoon. Well, good afternoon to you. It's 4:01. I suppose we're going to be jumping over to Hal here pretty soon. What we should do, Van Halen. Yeah, we spoke of Van Halen, my favorite band of all time. I'm going to skip ahead maybe because I'm like way behind in the chat. It's 4:01. Wow, I didn't realize I'm how many minutes behind am I in the chat? I'm so sorry. We got Paul Young here, Greg Koval, Tool's awesome. We're good, but maybe we should do some sort of Chuck and John raid over there when Hal goes on. That would be awesome. If we could do a little raidy. Yeah, there's Hal. So his countdown is on. Is 4 minutes 53 seconds. So what did we do last time, Jolie? Did we put a link to Hal's channel, and we could jump over there, and if everyone would give me a Chuck and John raid type of deal, that would be really awesome, and that might help. Maybe that'll help us get to 1,300. We're still in the 1290s, trying to get the 1,300 subs. That was my goal for today, so maybe we can do that. But so in a few minutes here, I'll be jumping over to Hal. I'll be ending this, I guess, but maybe we could do a Chuck and John raid if you guys want to. Yeah, Jolie's got Hal Sparks. So there's the link. He's not actually on yet, but when you guys go in there, if you could give me a Chuck and John raid type of thing, that would be awesome. And I guess, Jolie, I should go ahead and end. Should we go ahead and end it? Because I know everyone wants to go over there. And yeah, Nick says, how's on now? Yeah, he's got his countdown going. Karen Bass, just in time to go. Yeah, great timing, Karen. But we'll see you guys over in Hal's chat. Paul Young says, thanks, guys, heading to Hal's. Thanks, make sure you give me a Chuck and John raid if you'd like, over there. And Rose Blake, I never got to see Neil Young. It's not too late, I think. Is he still performing? Anyway, I better stop. Jolie says, Chuck and John raid. All right, Rose Blake, this was fun. Thanks, Rose, for being here. Karen, thanks for being here. Everyone, thank you so much for spending an hour or so with me. 59 minutes, actually, not quite an hour. But we'll see you over at Hal's, and we'll see you around in chat, all the chats and all that good stuff. Thanks, Jolie, for helping me out. And thanks for reminiscing about all our favorite rock bands. It's been fun. It's been a fun one. I think this is a fun one, right? All right, guys.